I'm sorry, but that just never, ever gets old to me. Ever. It just never gets old to me. I could listen to that, watch it rather, over and over again. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. Um, I love the way the music just da 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 da. Ba 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 ba. Of course, right from the beginning with that woo, it just gets me every time. I love it. Anyway, thank you all so much for being here. Hello to you, Robert Collins. Okay, 1930. So that means 7:30 p.m. Yes, right? Yeah, I think so. 7:30 p.m. Anyway, glad you're here. Thank you so much for being here. And I hope I was able to do justice to your beautiful city with that travel video I made. Hello to Black Queen. Audrey Teschner wants to say hi to a bunch of people and then again to some more people. Very cool. Hello to Lydia Washington, Nancy Austin, Rosa Roberts, Karen M. Hello to Church Nellie. Yes, happy Thursday to you too. And also, who else is here? Connie Balmer. Hi, Connie Balmer. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I'm trying to, I want to get back to my 12 o'clock eventually. But so today I was able to squeeze into 12:30 because I keep going later and later, and that's not my intention. So I want to get back to my noon hour as soon as possible. Hello, Fancy Fancy, Emerald Derek, and Annie Bennett. Did I say hi to Audrey Teschner? Of course I did. And Joan Garcia, hello, welcome. Jeannie Hyde, hi. Eliza Sane, yes, welcome. Trinette Mitchell, hello, Lucy Wynn. Lucy Wynn, I was supposed to do something, wasn't I? And I only just remembered just now. Oh my goodness. I got to do better than that. Oh, you know what I forgot? All right. You know what? I called myself being a very model of efficiency today, but I just remembered something I did not do. So I'm going to do that discreetly. Model of efficiency. Uh oh. But I just remembered. All right. That was another screen I just opened. I needed to do that. And okay. So I got that. Very good. Very good. And this. Oh, did I do that already? Oh, the man arrested for allegedly throwing eggs at King is banned from having eggs. He's banned from having eggs. Okay. How dare they lower his cholesterol? Well, anyway, I'll get to him later, but that was just something. Oh. Oh, okay. Okay. All right, a lot of good stuff on Twitter. And I literally just got off of Twitter and somehow I missed the good stuff, but that's okay. Um, I'll try to share with you what I can whenever possible. Hello, Jan Martin, Brenda Phillips, Kim Peaches. Hello, Steph 1159, Joyce Anderson. Okay, Joan Garcia wants to say hi to a few people. Very cool. Charlotte B, bonjour, bonsoir. Okay, Berta Sanchez. Hello, welcome. Eliza San Louis. San Louis. Hello, Eliza San Louis. Do I sound, how do I say, sexy with my French accent? Oui? Every little breeze seems to whisper Louise, the birds in the trees. I promise you, I have not been drinking. That does sound like someone who's inebriated, doesn't it? Oh, thank you so much. Um, What is the word? Merci beaucoup. All right. So, where are we here? There we go. Let me make that a little bigger. So, I just had to work that in there. Now, here's the good news. I have Netflix. Now, here's the bad news. I ain't watched The Crown yet. So, you guys, I'm not going to stay on here that long because I have to watch The Crown. That is homework for me. As a matter of fact, it is one of my best pleasures because, as I told you guys, I love a good documentary. And when I found out that everything that was in The Crown is absolutely 100% true, real to life, 100% accurate, word for word, as though there were cameras in the room. I'm sorry, I couldn't hold it. As though there were cameras in every room. I just have to watch it, don't I? Hello, VS Speaks Royally. Okay, and you say in clouds listening while working. Very cool. I am so glad that Royal Sussex will be a part of your workday. That is very cool. I feel privileged. Okay. Oh, you saw 3 episodes yesterday. Okay, don't tell me. Don't tell me. I got to get caught up. I got to get caught up. I'm just afraid because I want to be able to stop like at the first 2 episodes. Okay, you know what? I need to watch 3 since today is the 10th. Wait, yesterday it came out, so the night. All right, I need to watch 2. I need to watch 2. That's what I'm going to do. I am going to watch 2 episodes today, and then I will get back to you guys. But I got popcorn. I have Twitter. I have that wonderful tea that I got for my birthday. And I think I may even have one of those inhalers. So just in case I need it, I'll have it. All right, very good. All right, then. Um, with that being said, let's talk about a few things that we know for sure. Um, I love this right here. Rohita Kabambi says, watching The Crown the way it was meant to be watched with Wikipedia open. Is this like the worst nightmare for the royal family and the establishment that people are actually going to watch with the Wikipedia open? Um, I think that's the only way to do it. That makes all the sense in the world to me. One should watch it with your uh, smart device, whether you're on Wikipedia, on your smartphone, or on your tablet, or on your laptop. That is the way to watch it to make sure you don't miss one single thing that you can actively go and investigate on your own and find out that, yes, The Crown is one of the most highly anticipated documentaries ever. I don't think that Ken Burns could have done as great a job. And if you guys know who Ken Burns is, you're a nerd, just like me. if if Ken Burns is like one of the go-to names when it comes to watching television, then that means you're probably a little bit of a nerd, but that's a good thing because nerds be knowing, right? Right. And if our Duchess is a nerd and it's good enough for her, I think it's good enough for all of us. Okay. So, let me see. Oh, the 5th episode I watched was very good. Mm. Oh man, that's my. I know it's kind of shady, and yet I'm so excited. Oh man. All right, I can't wait. I'm going to dig into it as soon as I'm done with Royal Sussex. So let's get back to the egg, shall we? There is the egg gate, and then we're going to get into a few other things, and hopefully, I can be out of here in an hour, which is good because Anne is coming on later with her review. So I'm not going to watch Anne today. I'm going to make sure that I am in front of that television watching The Crown, the favorite, most highly anticipated documentary ever. Okay, so yesterday we spoke about Egggate, which was exceptionally odd that someone would expect it to. Uh, okay, I'm not gonna get carried. Hi, Stephanie Shice. I'm not gonna get carried away with all the egg references, but it would be exceptional if I didn't, right? It would be exactly what you expect, but it would be totally unexpurgated and highly egg lightning. This is starting to sound like McDonald's, right? The fillet of fish, the McRib, the Big Mac. Yeah, I think we're gone far enough with that one. But yeah, so love your yolks, Baron. Touche. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I love that. Oh, excuse me. That is funny. Okay. Well, anyway, once you mention an egg and you don't reference William, isn't that totally unexpected? Well, I don't want to exaggerate the I gotta stop. I don't want to exaggerate the issue, but isn't that what exactly what you expect? Exactly. Oh man, I love it. Okay, so the young man, Thelwell, Patrick Thelwell, is it Philwell? Philwell, shouted, "This country was built on the blood of slaves before he was carried away by police into a waiting van." But the thing is, it wasn't limited to that. That's what's so odd. And by the way, you guys, that photo on the right is one that I've kept for quite some time. In my massive file of photos that I have, like some probably 70,000, this one is actually a lesson about racism. If you'll notice, the eggs are brown, beige, and white. Well, the thing is, once you crack them open and cook them, aren't they all the same on the inside? So that is actually a lesson about racism. And so I saved that photo for some time because I don't know, I thought I might use it for a meme or something like that. Well, if you look at the young man on the ground, he's saying that he believes in equality, that the country was built on racism. He even told the police, he said a lot of things that did not really make it into the tabloids and the so-called mainstream media, but it is there. Like when he mentioned that he's not afraid of immigrants and that he welcomes people to the country. Um, and of course, that was the milder things that he said in comparison, that is, to what he said about King Charles III. He referenced Savile, he referenced Andrew. There's a lot of things that he referenced in his. Uh, I'm not even going to call it a rant because rant makes it sound like he was um, out of control, but he wasn't out of control. He knew exactly what he wanted to say and to whom he was speaking of. And so I hate that that isn't more well known, but he said things that really reflect um, very much some of the things that I've heard some of the other protesters and well, and see, I'm choosing my words carefully because I hate to call them a protester because that makes it sounds like they're unhinged. But I'll just say people who are no fans of the firm of the monarchy, and also he spoke out against the Tory party. I mean, he had a laundry list of things that he was opposed to and things that he wanted people to know about. And so that is kind of lost on everything else that happened. But he seemed to be very, wise to exactly what's going on and some of the problems with the system. So um, now, of course, I watched one of the conspiracy theorist channels because honestly, you guys, I watch conspiracy theorists because I like to ask questions. It doesn't mean I believe everything they say or anything they say, but then there were those who were trying to say that he is like the shiny object and that there was something more going on. I can only attest to what he said, and I think that that person who said that on another channel didn't hear this whole part of his apprehension by the or arrest by the police, where he had a laundry list of things that he wanted to talk about besides you know the slavery part, but that seems to be the part that most people heard. And so even like the nasty tabloids, they totally omitted that part of it. And I noticed that none of the tabloids have this part of the video that they share. At least I don't think so. But they certainly didn't write it. If they do share the video, they didn't write anything that he said. So um, whatever whatever they do to try to suppress people's voices and to try to diminish the things that people are saying, um, people that are trying to expose um, whether it's the government or whether it's the royal family or just the institutions as a whole, they can try to suppress that if they want to. But for the people that it matters to, they are singing like a canary. As a matter of fact, some of those websites or channels, or even on their Twitter account, the the it's one, I think it's called the Republic. They talk about a lot of this stuff on the Republic. As a matter of fact, these are talking points that are used by people from Wales and from Scotland that would love to see the independence movements go forward. They're not afraid to be without London or be without England. They want to leave the Union after what is it, 350 years of the United Kingdom as a union. They are ready to leave. They want to undo those old agreements and move on. They feel as though they'll do better. And you know what? Speaking of independence, I just learned something today that I did not realize. But did you guys know that Ukraine has found oil and gas deposits? Um, and they said that maybe one of the reasons why there is a war right now is because they have an opportunity to provide fuel not just for themselves, but for other parts of Europe. Natural gas and oil has been found in Ukraine. So I don't know how much bearing that has on the current situation, but yeah, I'm just throwing that in there. That was just something I learned today. So I thought it was very, very interesting. Um, they produce agriculture and they have gas and oil. So they have a lot going for themselves that is worth fighting for so that they can remain independent of Mother Russia. All right. Okay, so right here. Now, you know what? This is just one of those things that okay, I played with a title for the video. The Eggman Cometh. Is that what it was? The Eggman Cometh? Yes, I think that was it. The Eggman Cometh. And so when I entered that title to search for some material to share, what do you know? I came across a cartoon and the lead character in the cartoon, who does he look like with the green eyes and the dark hair? He looks just like Patrick Farewell. It's just a weird coincidence. It has very little to do with anything else about this, except that was the title of one of the cartoons. And I can't remember the name of the cartoon. Let me jump ahead here. Oh, there it is. Ben 10. That is the name of the cartoon. Ben 10. And how ironic and interesting that as I'm looking for another funny name that I could use for this event, there happens to be an episode of Ben 10 called The Eggman Cometh. And I'm looking at the character. I'm like, gosh, he looks familiar. Again, just a coincidence. And I don't think the theme of the cartoon has anything to do with Charles III or his emotional support, Camilla, but it's just one of those weird coincidences. So, um, yeah, that's it. So, just by chance, that happened. Um, well, and then with the arrest, it has also brought a lot of attention to how vulnerable uh, Charles and the rest of the family, they are quite vulnerable. And if you guys remember, they said that Harry and Meghan, oh, if they weren't safe here, how could they possibly be safe in Los Angeles? Well, of course, they're not in Los Angeles, but everything south of San Francisco is LA to some people. So, of course, they're not in Los Angeles. They are in a beautiful little town, a hamlet in Santa Barbara called Montecito, where there are no leaks. There are no leaks in Montecito. That's where they are. They are not in Los Angeles. But okay, whatever. I think it's about a 2-hour drive given the traffic, give or take. So yeah, that is where they are, and they are quite safe there. So I'm going to take a look at a couple of your comments before I go on. The UK seems to have become more totalitarian under what is that, Charlos? Charles the Third. Free speech is becoming openly denied, and the deprivation of poor seems sanctioned. Right. Well, you know what? And this is the other thing. Thank you for saying that, Vinny Blair, because you just triggered my memory. They're also saying that they may be using this situation with the eggs to take away people's rights even further. Because if you guys recall, when that young man called out on the quiet streets of Edinburgh, Andrew, you're a sick old man. Well, what did they do? They arrested him and they arrested a few other people just for holding up signs. If the police, oh, Vinny Blair, thank you so much. If the police feel that they have any type of reason whatsoever, you holding up a sign or even a blank piece of paper is the same as yelling fire in a crowded theater. That gives them the right to arrest you for disorderly conduct or whatever the title that they use that you're causing trouble. But yeah, that is another thing, another box that is checked by this arrest. And it does seem to be so scripted, like a big Hollywood moment, that, as I said, I don't believe everything a conspiracy theorist says, but I will be open minded enough to say, yes, there's always that possibility. But then again, it may be the establishment that is coming up with conspiracies of their own just to take people's rights away. So, as long as there has been society, there has always been protesters. So, I can't say for sure that it's either way, although I tend to lean toward believing that this young man is an idealistic person who feels a certain way about society. And that is why we should all be very proud that 70% of the what is it, millennials, the young people that went to vote, 70% of them voted for the Democrats. They are the ones who help prohibit the Republicans from having that red wave and turned it more into a little pink trickle, a little a little pink splash rather than a big red wave or tsunami. So again, I am more apt to believe that this young man was acting on his conscience. Again, thank you, Vinny. Okay, so moving on. Oh, I was actually going back the other way because I feel like I may have missed a bunch of stuff, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So I will keep moving the other direction. Uh, oh, believe me, I think everybody got a good laugh out of that. No leaks and no Botox, huh? Well, that's the official record for what do you call it, for the Kensington Palace. They want you to believe that there's no leaks and no Botox, but the truth is the no leaks and no Botox is where Montecito. In the other place, there's nothing but leaks and Botox, and sometimes the Botox leaks. Leaks. Olivia Harris, see what you just made me do. See what you just caused me to do. I'm trying to be the very epitome of sensibility today and everything. I'm trying not to be as shady as usual. Hey, Ronnie Vanna, thanks for being here. Okay. That says it sounds like we are in the 16th century. The every man is kept poor by the elites and institutions. How is it different except for public executions? I see what you've done there. Thank you so much. That is exactly what I was hoping to draw out of this conversation today. That exact thing. So, but you guys, you don't have to look that far back to see where the elites have taken terrible advantage of people during the Victorian age. Well, actually, I would say what the Industrial Revolution started during the Regency period, right? That was like part of that Industrial Revolution. That's when you had the Thomas Chippendales and the is that when Waterford Crystal came along? And who's the one with the porcelain? Wedgwood, Josiah Wedgwood. That's when those manufacturers came along. And then, of course, the textile injury. Well, listen to me. Isn't that a Freudian slip? Injury. The textile industry, which, of course, was fueled which should I say fueled the slave trade because take the textiles to Africa, load the ship with Africans, take the slaves over to the Americas, have the slaves pick the cotton, and then take the cotton back to the UK, and that whole vicious cycle was such an integral part of the transatlantic slave trade, where you had slaves, cotton, textiles, slaves, and just it was a triangle. It was literally a triangle. So, well, anyway, back in those periods, I would say, aside from the fact that the average peasant was not enslaved, but the way that England, industrial England treated children. I mean, if you ever read about that stuff, or if you ever seen a documentary about some of the equipment that they were like the little tools that were made miniature just for their small hands. And then, of course, the looms that's used to make fabric, they would have to go under those machines and sweep up all the excess cotton and debris while the machines are working. And so many kids were maimed and killed like that. And working in those places, sometimes you would get that dust in your lungs, and it would shorten your life expectancy. So the idea that any society could thrive using slavery is something that is very well documented. But if you look at the way they've treated the peasants, it wasn't much better. And that's why it's really so disgusting that right now you have all of these people using food banks, all of these people who are in desperate need of affordable housing, and yet there's no big government scheme to build new housing or to help feed people. And so they're just letting people make choices: medication, dinner. Or how about you don't eat, but your kids can eat? I mean, it's really tough. So, oh man, it's really no surprise though. Really no surprise how bad they can treat working class people. It's very historical. Okay. Let me move on. Okay, one more. Remember, Charles accused people of wanting to rise above their station when they wouldn't pick fruit. Oh, I remember that. I remember that. When they wouldn't pick fruit for free on the royal estates during the pandemic. Vinny Blair, you are a wealth of knowledge. I remember that. Yeah, it seems like a decade ago, but it wasn't that long ago when they were because let me think if I got this right, Vinny. Help me out if I'm wrong. But during the pandemic, a lot of migrants, the migrants had to leave or left for financial reasons, and because of the Brexit, they couldn't get new people back. And so a lot of the seasonal people were restricted because of the pandemic. And then with the Brexit, if you were not a passport holder, then it was very difficult for you to come back because that relationship with the European Union had ended. And so there was no more of that cheap, affordable labor to pick the fruit. So Prince Charles thought it was a patriotic duty for every able bodied person in the UK to go out there and start picking that cotton. Oops, did I say cotton? I mean fruit. I remember that. Yeah, that is the height of arrogance to make that assumption that people would be willing to do that for free, as though it was, he was trying to use that World War II, we're all in this together, keep calm and carry on mentality to get people to go and pick fruit for free to benefit himself and other landlords and landholders. Oh, yeah. Wow, Vinny, you're on fire today. I totally forgot about that. Sharon Augustine, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Thursday to you. Did I miss a super sticker earlier? I kind of think I didn't I? I'm scrolling back to see. I thought I saw one earlier. Or was that wishful thinking? But I thought I saw. Oh, there it is. Audrey Teschner, thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. And happy Thursday to you. I knew I saw one earlier. Totally escaped me. All right. So, okay. Truthfully, I chopped cotton too. We learned to work early. The first check looked good. We worked chopping cotton because it helped my dad out. We were able to buy our own clothes. Wow, Verda Sanchez. I think didn't I hear that Tina Turner? I think Tina Turner said when she was young that was something that she had to do. Wow, that's interesting. And you almost don't think that anything like that exists past the Victorian times, but yeah, apparently it does. Yeah, and that's something I guess so many people in the US are removed from that they don't even know that that still exists. But yeah, thank you for sharing that with us. Okay. Let me see here. That sounds familiar to the US. Some are mad that people didn't want to risk their lives for below minimum wage. Very good, Matt World. Thanks for that. Yeah. Yeah, I think that if they really want to preserve democracy, if they really want to preserve society as we know it, having a living wage benefits everyone. And one of my favorite stories about one of the most maniacal people you've ever met, I mean, sinister in his, discipline when it came to business, but yet, you can't say that everything was bad about him because Henry Ford elevated more people out of poverty than anybody else in the United States in that time. Because when the Model T was so popular, Henry Ford actually increased the pay, knowing that his employees would want a car of their own. And so by him raising their wages, it helped the company grow. See, and one of the big differences about the United States car industry and that of the European car industry is that in Europe, the automobile was mostly for rich people, but in the US, anybody could buy a car. The Model T was deliberately inexpensive and they only came in black. If you've never heard the story, Henry Ford used black because it would drive faster, right? It was able to drive faster because the black draws the heat in, and also because it was cheaper. It was less expensive to produce, and it would drive faster, so it was highly efficient. And so people complained. They said, people love the Model T. It's easy to repair, easy to maintain, but people would like to have a choice in colors. And Henry Ford said, well, tell them they can have whatever color they want so long as it's black. Oh man, I love that story. But yeah, so that just goes to show, my point is that just goes to show that if people have a living wage, you can expand the economy. It's not going to bankrupt the country. It will expand the country. It's just that the haves and have mores want the haves and have nots, or the knots and whatever. They don't want you to have anything so that their real estate is more expensive, and therefore they can keep charging you whatever price they can get out of you for rentals and property purchases and such. Okay, so let's move on from that and go over here. Now, he spoke about, Andrew, Jimmy. Well, let's not forget Louis, Andy, Louis, Jimmy. Let's not forget about Louis, because there is still that case in Ireland that they were discussing about a month ago, where the guy said that some things happened, and I had to cover up that word because I don't want to be canceled. So I covered up that word, but you can imagine what it is. Well, they did not. They, or should I say, um, that was something that he mentioned. I mean, it was pretty direct what he said, but how could you see it because of eggs flying everywhere? I mean, if you look right there, this lady is taking a picture back there, and I'm sure she didn't get the shot because the egg was. I'm I'm sure she didn't get the shot. I mean, there's so much going on in that photo. Look at Charles. Look at the hand behind Charles trying to block the egg, which is in mid-flight, and the lady back there, along with other people, taking pictures. And the guy on the right side is looking to the guy throwing the egg. I mean, it's like all kind of action in that one photo. I don't know who the photographer was, but they did they did an amazing job capturing everything. Hi, Anna Espinoza. I learned how to drive a big old green tank. I swear the front end got there before you did. I almost took the gas pump with me. Anna, we have that in common. My first car was green. Yeah, my first car was green. Oh yeah, and that thing was all of a tank. Oh, I had quite a few cars in my day. Some of them were pretty cool, and some actually I loved all of them. I mean, they got the job done, right? Okay, and then there's some more of the people that he was talking about: Jimmy, Andy, Louie, and of course, it's almost like a joke when you throw in a priest. I mean, it's well, not a joke, but it sounds like the making of a joke. A viceroy, a prince, and a priest walked into a room. And I don't even know what to call Jimmy. But yeah, so you got all of these things going on. And this is stuff that the young man spoke about while he was on the ground. And again, all of that stuff will not really. And there you go, right there. Disgusting. That's the one who yelled disgusting. So again, if you can see how the young are the ones that are going to tell the story. It's not the older people, it's not these institutions or whatever. This is what they need to worry about is because day by day they are losing their demographic to time, and that of course is that post-war um, population that just love the queen and love the royal family. But then there's the younger people who are either ambivalent about it or they are ready to have an elected head of state. That's the problem. That's the problem. And so, yeah, the timing thing interesting because of the Crown premiering the same day that the egg thing happened. But I think it would have happened anyway. I mean, they've been protesting since the Queen died. This started when the Queen died. Uh oh. Now, this is what you almost couldn't see because there were eggs flying everywhere. This is another thing, should I say? Notice the sign in the background. Neiman Marcus. That's how you say it in Welsh. It not my king. There's a sign back there that I didn't even see at first until someone in Twitter highlighted it, but it says not my king. There's another one. I'm well the same sign from another angle, not my king. Huh, how about that? So he wasn't the only person there. He was not, I repeat, not the only person there. There's another person back there holding up a sign too. So again, it's not just because of the crown. It's not Meghan and Harry. It's not any of that stuff. These are people who are not interested in that form of government in the year 2022, 23, 24, and so on. They don't want it. They want an opportunity to elect a head of state. Now, I didn't get a chance to listen to most of Pedals because I was actually working and I didn't want to, you know, it was so good. I didn't want to get distracted, so I turned it off. But I did hear us say that that actually, where was I going with that? Gosh, now I forgot what I was. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh Lord. Anyway, it'll come back to me. See, again, I didn't want to get distracted, and now I just distracted myself. But but yeah, so there you go. And Saturday, May the 6th, 2023, there will be a much larger crowd that will be out there to protest. It is going to be a huge day. Um, you know what's really bad about it too is they should have just said that the coronation will be in May and then waited, because by them announcing it this early, they are giving people a chance to organize. Not only will there be protests in London, as much as they'll allow, there's going to be protests in Wales and in Scotland. And so if Charles wants to go on the road with his emotional support Camilla, as he did after his mother died, to shore up support, it's going to be a disaster. It is going to be a disaster. Um, and I'm not wishing anything bad. I'm just saying it is going to be very messy. I got a feeling with all of the organization that is going on up until that point, people are going to see that as a moment to leverage. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I guess it didn't have anything to do with pedal. Maybe no, it wasn't. Um, copycats, copycats, copycats. There's going to be copycats. There always is, because this shows vulnerability. So there'll be copycats. That always happens. So um, there's that to think about. But Charles is going to have a rough time. It's amazing that people predicted that a long time ago, and just as sure as the sun is in the sky, that's exactly what's happening. Mad World says, "I would prefer to work one and pay. I would prefer to work one and paid my worth. My heart goes out to people that work multiple jobs to make ends meet, missing out, spending time with their family, and barely putting food on the table." Mad world, it is awful that to the jobs that of the past, you could conceivably have a single income maintain a household, but now you need one person, was actually two people with multiple jobs to do the same. A job for food and clothes, and a job to pay the rent and maybe some other utilities. That is insane and unsustainable. And really, I'm going to tell you why that's really shooting yourself in the foot. The birth rate, the birth rate is so low because people cannot afford to have children. And so having one child per household in some cases is limiting the amount of available labor, which means that you have to bring in immigrants to fill that void. But if you're fighting immigrants and you're not paying people to have children, then you run the risk of higher inflation. So yeah, it's so backwards that is the way that the right wing wants it. They want everything to be white as possible, right? They want everything to be white as possible, and they don't want any immigrants if they're people of color. And so that means you're not bringing in new labor, and immigration equals new labor. I mean, we need immigrants in the United States. I know a lot of people push against it. I don't, because the harsh reality is financially we won't be viable without it for long, because people are not having as many children as they used to. And there's so many positions in the workforce that are empty right now, because it's not even just a matter of training. They just don't have people. So it is really shooting yourself in the foot, all because you're afraid of the fear of brown people. That is what it is. Okay, let me see. The more arrests they made of young people for complaining and expressing their dislikes for the crown, the less likely Charles and Camilla's popularity, or what is that, like a will increase. Okay, I think I got that. But yeah, well, the more they push back, the worse it's going to get for them. The worse it's going to get for them. I mean, they'll. I hope they never get so desperate that they shut down social media. But that is what's working against them is an informed, uh, young population that are speaking up and speaking out. That is what helped the Democrats in this last election was the millennials getting out there to vote. Thank you for your comment. Kids Door says, Barron, since Betty passed away, everything on everything. I'm sorry, since Barron, since Betty passed on everything, but the kitchen sink has been come out. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired. They want change and want it now. Yeah, and Kids Endure, that was the whole thing about Brexit was just they wanted change. They wanted change for the sake of change. And then the next day they wake up and Google, what is Brexit? That's a big mistake that people make is change for the sake of change instead of changing for the better. The change for the sake of change is how we got Donald Trump. They didn't know what he stood for. They didn't care. But the change for the sake of change equals Donald Trump. And who needs that? Oh, man. And I'm not saying the Democrats get everything right. I'm certainly not going to say that. I mean, it's a lot of stuff I look at. I'm just like, oh, God, must we? But on balance, where my values are aligned, it just takes me in that direction. I'm certainly not going to vote for someone who wants to put me on the back of the bus or back in the 1950s. And as you can see with that cult of Donald Trump, there's plenty of that. Speaking of cult, did you guys hear people yelling, God save the queen? No, well, sorry, God save the king. Every time there's something like that kid or with Andrew with the you're a sick old man, people start yelling, God save the king, as though they're planted there. So, which one is part of the greater conspiracy? The kid throwing the egg or the people chanting, God save the king? Or both? Or both? That is, if there were a conspiracy, I'm not saying, I believe that the kid was sincere, but let's just, for the sake of it, say if that was some kind of conspiracy, was he planted? Were the people countering him planted? Or was it all just spontaneous? I mean, you didn't hear a lot of people yelling, God save the king. It was just a handful, but it was almost on cue. It was almost on cue. That's what makes it so strange and bizarre and makes me ask a question because it was almost like someone like blew a whistle and was like, "Oh yeah, 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 yeah. God save the king." Okay, I'm gonna change subjects. We're gonna talk about this, and then we got a few more things, and then we'll be good today. Oh, sorry. Okay, so vote. Now, of course, people pointed out that Megan is a member of the royal family, and she was telling people to vote, and that violated the protocol, or that's blah 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 blah. But yet she's an American citizen and still has American citizenship, which is something else that any other member of the royal family, except for her children, can say, is that she is an American citizen. So, as an American, she has the right to vote. So, that was unprecedented. The other thing that they said was unprecedented was the fact that she was talking actively campaigning for people to vote. And of course, was it Richard Eden who said, oh, we probably know that she voted Democrat? Well, maybe. One would assume, but maybe. The other thing that he didn't mention was the fact that even the Queen has gotten involved with politics. And I ain't just talking about petitioning for them to put laws in place that will benefit herself and the rest of the royal family. But Queen Elizabeth encouraged the public to vote in 2003 after a long voter turnout in Wales. It is vital to the health uh, both of the United Kingdom and of Wales that our democratic institutions flourish and adapt, the monarch said during a visit to the Welsh Assembly, according to the Times. The Queen opened the second term of the Welsh Assembly yesterday and voiced her concern at the low turnout in its recent election. Just 38% of the electorate voted in May's poll. The Queen said that the challenge facing all politicians was to persuade people to use their vote. Now, that was the Queen that did that. You know, the Queen that said, whether it be it long or be it short, I pledge my life for for what is that she said, for something and for imperial family. So that's the same Queen that said whether her life is long or short that she was going to hang in there. That one, the same Queen that said 1992 1992 is a year which I should look back with undiluted pleasure. It was a horrible anus. That's the same Queen. The same one that said she was going to be there until they had to carry her out, and the same one who said that 1992 was a horrific anus. That is the same one who told the people of Wales to vote. Just stating for the record, that's all. Just the record. Okay, and then there's Oprah. Now, one of the funniest things that I saw post election day was not this photo of Oprah. As you know, Oprah's one of her favorite movies, if not the favorite, is The Wizard of Oz because of the whole you've always had it in you. You were always brave. You were always smart. And you were always, let me see, courage, wisdom. Um, oh gosh, what was the other one? Courage, wisdom, and oil, was it? Oh, and heart. You always had love, courage, and wisdom. Okay. So in Harper's Bazaar, Oprah actually had did a photo shoot where she was Glinda, the good witch of the north, right? And there's Toto trying to keep her from blowing away. Well, on election day, of course, that didn't escape people's notice that it was Dr. Oz that she kind of turned her back on. Now, I don't know who this is with the red shoes, but they were saying, Dr. Oz, just go away before Oprah drops a house on you. So that was a little caption that went with this photo is that if Dr. Oz doesn't shut up or whatever, Oprah was going to drop a house on him. So anyway, that was one of my favorite things from the election was this photo. Okay, so oh really? Did they say that? People magazine should be taken to court for saying Princess Meghan was not supposed to vote because she was a member of the royal family? Oh, as if. I don't think that you are not supposed to vote was part of their agreement. They have an ironclad agreement that they will not use their titles for the purposes of commerce or trade. It didn't say anything about them voting. That statement that came from the royal household when they left said nothing about them voting. And so at some point, and they're going to make a big deal out of it, but at some point, Prince Harry is going to be a registered voter here in the United States. And I can't wait for that because If you think that this was like a little side note, and I think they didn't make a big deal out of it because they didn't want to encourage people to vote any more than they already were encouraged. Um, Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can find that the statement from the Queen when Meghan and Harry left. I don't see it very conveniently here, so but I know I have it, and it did mention that they were not going to use their titles for business purposes. So um, yeah, it's not important what they say about that. Let me see. Nope, that's not it. And that's not it. Be it long or be it short. Nope, I don't see it. But yeah, I do remember seeing it, and it said nothing about whether or not Megan could vote. Now, if they have anything else they signed on the way out the door that I'm not aware of, then so be it. But I'm pretty sure whoever said that is not privileged to that information any more than the rest of us. And they, they're just talking. I doubt if that they're going to sue him though, but it is misleading for sure. The Wizard of Oz has mad symbolism in it. Toto represents Toto represents Dorothy's institution. Oh, okay. The time he barked at telling her not to do something. Oz represents the government. Okay, interesting. Interesting. Thank you so much for that. Is that truth or dilly? Thank you. All right. So Queen Sonia says Americans, that is, have no idea of monarchy's importance as daughter steps back from royal life. Well, of course, she would say that, seeing that she's in a royal household. And I think the idea that we have no concept of monarchy or its relevance or importance, I think is being a bit arrogant, if not just plain ignorant, because as Americans, we do hold a great deal over the head of the first family. They are under a lot of scrutiny as members of the first family. Now, that may last only for the time that they're in the White House, for sure, but it's still a thing. And so, whether the president is there for 4 years or 8 years, the royal family's protocol isn't much different from what we expect from the first family. There's a lot of things that you can and cannot do as a member of the presidential household. Like, for instance, if there's any business or trade by any member of the family, that is scrutinized. If people are invited to the White House, that's scrutinized. There's all kind of things. Look at what they put um, the Obama kids through. Look at what they've done to all of the kids in the White House. Not even limited. Even Pat Nixon, well, not what was the Nixon kid's name? I forget her name, but um, it's always been that way. People always gave the side eye because of the first family. So I think to say that all Americans don't get the concept of it, like we don't understand why that they don't want uh, a member of the household to work or not to do certain type of work. What is there not to get? It's no less or more than we expect from a first family in the United States. I think it's ridiculous to say otherwise. But again, it's just like when they said, Judy Dench says, "Oh, I don't think most Americans will know the difference between a dramatization and a documentary." Again, that is quite ignorant to say that because um, I believe most Americans do know the difference. So I didn't like that. I thought that was being rather pompous, but again, because that's what she does for a living, she's just going to assume that most of us don't get it. Queen Sonia needs to mind her damn business. That's why we had a revolutionary war to keep the greedy monarchs out. Thank you, Compton Cali Gal. Anna Espinosa said, these idiots think because they are privileged that they are able to pick your soulmate. Yeah, very true. Now, that being said, I did finish reading about the shaman, and he's had an interesting life. That's all I'll say is he had an interesting life. But if they love each other and they want to be together, then so be it. Um, but yeah, it is. I won't even try to make the comparison with the Sussexes because there is no comparison. Um, except for it involves an American and a royal household. That's as far as it goes. Harry and Meghan's situation is very, very different. Um, and of course, I don't suppose that there will be any children involved from this union, given the age of the potential parents. I don't think there'll be any children from this union, so it's not like you're going to have heirs coming from their household. So I think that's the big difference right there is that there will be no children, at least not likely. Um, Ladarius Martin says, Barry, I can assure you I know more about royalty and its history than most Europeans with a monarchy. Saying we don't know is a cop out. Yeah, it is. It is. And that was what they used against Megan is this idea, oh, she just doesn't understand our ways. Megan took your ways and showed you how to do it. Megan and Harry, both of them, by taking that tour of South Africa without all of the usual constraints of a royal tour, that is the template which is needed to help his brother and his weird sister-in-law. That is what will save them is if they do more like a Sussex and less like whatever they are now. That is what will save them, because doing it the old way, look at what a disaster that was. The only modern royal tour of any couple um, that I know of for that family was Harry and Meghan going to South Africa. They didn't go to the officials first, they went to the people first. It wasn't the big pomp and circumstance. Now, when they had to do it the old fashioned way for the Oceania tour, they got through it with flying colors. Huge success. And when they did things more their way in South Africa, huge success. So, what's the point? If you want Megan to do it this way or that way, she can do it. The idea that, oh, she doesn't understand our ways, what is there to understand? How to walk like a duchess, how to talk like a duchess, how to dress like a duchess. Check, check, check. She did all of that. Now, I'll say this, there is someone who is a duchess, now the Princess of Wales. We're still trying to teach her how to talk. We're still trying to see when she's going to learn how to talk, when she can address a crowd of people, when she could show up for some of the patronages that she's been installed. We're still waiting to see that. We're still waiting to see when she works. She doesn't work. She doesn't talk. And when she dresses is usually pretending to be someone else, or she's wearing something that looks like it comes out of a bargain basement bin. I mean, come on. What is there to know? I'm like very, very heated about that comment. Well, they don't know anything. What is there to know? Just like you, just like anybody else, You have a bunch of little flunkies that run around you to tell you what to say and do and who's important. Anybody could do that. Anybody. If they took Sarah Ferguson and put a nice frock on her and sent her out there to do royal duty, anybody could do it. If Duchess Doolittle, Workshire Will and Duchess Doolittle, if they could go out there and do that work, anybody can do it. They don't even want to be there. That's the worst part about it. They don't even want to be there. They both act like they have a train to catch, or in their case, a private plane to catch. They never actually connect. They walk in, Kate smiles and waves, and William makes those weird faces, and then they're out of it. Well, they both do that too. And then they're out of there. So what is there to know? Meghan went in there and showed them exactly how easy what they were doing was, but they couldn't do what she does. They could not connect with people the way Meghan does. Meghan and Harry both, or by themselves, are 10 times anybody else in that family. Both of them. But alone or together, they can both carry the weight of that institution with no problem. But the people that are supposed to inherit the keys to the kingdom can barely walk and talk and chew gum at the same time. They're the ones that's incapable. And so, even though I'm not a big fan of this shaman person, let us not pretend like he couldn't come in there and cut ribbons with the best of them. I can't see what it is that they're supposed to be doing that's so complicated that these ignorant Americans, we just don't get it. We have protocol, we have pomp and circumstance. And these are people that are elected to those positions. So, yeah, that is the height of arrogance to say what we can and cannot do, or what we do or don't understand. I don't understand how that makes sense. I mean, given the way that these inbreds function, especially the House of Windsor, that what is it, Gotha, Acorn, and something, the way they function, that's the one that 3 children divorced all in the same year. Your house burns down and you don't, well, one of your houses, your castle burns down and you don't have enough sense to put insurance on it. So the public has to pay for it. I bet you the Duchess of Sussex, Rachel Meghan Markle, I bet you she would have insurance. She's not waiting for the public to pay for these gilded trappings of birth. What is that to understand? So Queen Sonia, hits the jackpot, and she becomes the queen of wherever the hell they are. I don't know what it is, but whatever she's the queen of, she hits the jackpot and becomes the queen. And oh, um, Americans have no idea of monarchy's importance. You're right. We don't have any idea, and we don't want to know. What's important to her is like a little novelty when we go on vacation. When we go on vacation, we go to the castles. Oh, where did they use the bathroom? Oh, where's the kitchen? Oh, that's an interesting painting. How old is that? That's it. We don't care about that stuff. It's interesting, it's fun, it's a Disney cartoon come to life. And that's all it is to it. But this idea that because of your breeding and all that, and all of that means what? Means what? And so for all of that, now you didn't let the shaman in the house. A faith healer is in your house. Bet you didn't see that coming. Oh man. Even if we disagree with things, we are happy with each other Queen Sonia says, I have the feeling the family is now very close to each other in a new, nice way. She continued, adding that Durek, which is actually Derek, is how it was originally spelled, a Los Angeles based spiritual guide and healer, is a great guy and very fun to be with. In similar sentiments, King Harold 85, said that he was sorry that the princess will no longer represent the royal house. If he's not careful, his nose is going to grow. Anyway, he's sorry that the princess is no longer going to represent the royal house and that we agree to disagree, the Associated Press reported. We have looked at the process from all sides. Queen Sonia stressed this has been a unanimous decision. Okay, I'm going to give them credit for this. At least they're making a public statement. At least they are speaking out to show their support for the royal couple. It's not a tepid, oh, that's magnificent. Like Prince Charles would say, oh, yes, we're very happy. They're not doing that. They are actually making it official that he's a member of the household, and there he is right there in the family photo. I don't know that I've seen any photos of the Windsors like this. Have you? There's no photo, which is odd, don't you think, that there is not a single photo of the Windsors as an entire family. I'm trying to think, unless it's a wedding, there are no photos of the whole family. I have seen photos of royal households throughout Europe, and you can never get all of those Gotha, Acorn, and Simpsons. What is their name? The Coburg, Gotha, whatever. You can't get all of them in the same room. And yet here you have the whole family taking a photo with all their titles, honors, and what you call it. They even went down to the senior center and got her out and put her in the picture. So they got everybody there. I have never seen a photo of the Windsors like this. They have the people on the balcony so that way you'll know who's important, and then they have the lesser royals, flanking them. But other than that, you never see all of them together. The ones that make the balconies appearances, there's way more of them than that, but you never see them together. So, given a glimpse into what's to come, Courtiers confirmed that Durek will become a member of the Norwegian royal family when he marries Martha Louise. The couple announced their engagement in June, though a wedding date has yet to be publicized. But in accordance with tradition, he will not have a title or represent the royal house of Norway. The palace specified Princess Martha Louise and Derek Barrett will attend family related gatherings such as birthday celebrations, as well as certain major sporting events that the royal family traditionally attend together. So there you have it. They are all one big family through and through. Whether they like him or not, they are not going to use the press to attack and alienate the two of them to the point where they drive them out the country, at least not for the time being. So, bravo to the Norwegian royal family for showing some solidarity despite whatever they're feeling. They are showing some solidarity, but gosh, I sound like Peddle today, don't I? I'm just like prosecuting the case. I told you I listened to Peddle for a little bit, and right now I am prancing back and forth at the witness stand, indicting Martha Louise's mama. But I saw that headline. I'm just like, she went there. She went there. Uh, okay. So, let me rest it right there for a second and listen to. Well, there goes my hour-long live. I should be watching the thing right now. Monarchy is not important or relevant anywhere in the world. Countries have to spend money when these royals arrive using funds that needed to help their own people. Yes, Compton Cali girl, that is true. That is so true. They are using a lot of money um, to maintain these royal households, and with the got the acorn Saxon. Oh, there it is. Saxon. What is it? Saxon Coburg Gotha. Really? Is that it? Oh no, it's not Saxon. Sax Coburg Gotha. Gotha. No wonder they changed it. Now I see why. Mrs. Sax Coburg Gotha? Yes. You sure Acorn is not in there somewhere? I thought I saw Acorn. Oh well. Um, okay, so Sax Coburg Gotha. 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 Nothing. What's the matter with you? Oh man. All right. Okay. I'm sick of them. Let's move on. Um. Okay. So Alexis says it's interesting that the royal wives that remain always want to morph into the ones they chased away. Camilla was trying to be Princess Diana so hard, just like the other wife who is trying to morph into Megan. Now that's something to think about, ain't it? Isn't that something to think about? Huh. That is rather curious, isn't it? Well, I'm thinking about it, and yeah, that sounds right. It does seem as though they're trying to, yes, yes, I agree. I agree with that. It seems as though they try to capture the essence of the ones that got away. Now, I would say, just like an old junkyard dog, that the emotional support wife would do better trying to catch a rabbit than trying to capture the essence of the Duchess of Sussex or I'm sorry, Princess Diana. It that dog just ain't gonna hunt. Wow, I like the way that fit in there. But yeah, that dog just ain't gonna hunt. Um, Never would have been, never could have been, not even in her best of condition. She might win best in show, but she'll never be better than the real Princess of Wales. Yes, she can win best in show, but not become a people's princess. That is impossible. Not likely. Like for instance, the famous revenge dress. Oh, I guess I'll wear something. Oh, I'll wear something off the shoulder, and that should look pretty smart. It worked for Diana. It'll work for me. Well, it didn't. It did not. No, not. Ooh, my eyes, my eyes. Anyway, this person right here, and thank you so much for the squatty that put this together. Now, if you notice, oh wait, I gotta find something else because I can't see that. Uh, where is he at here? There we go. So it says, make no mistake, it's an insult. Fleet Street jury say Meghan and Harry can expect no mercy after their stunning decision to go rogue and quit. Now, this came out in January 2020. You got the usual suspects, except for the one I don't really recognize him so much. Well, I recognize that big, long Easter Island head, Camilla Tominey, and of course, Dickie Arbiter And WrestleManias, as Lorraine says, and now we go to WrestleManias. And it's hello, WrestleManias. And now we go to WrestleManias. Hello, WrestleManias. She sounds just like Mrs. Doubtfire, don't she? And now we go to WrestleManias. Oh my God. I almost scream every time I hear Lorraine say that. And now over to WrestleManias. I don't know why she sounds like she comes from a Disney cartoon. Hello, WrestleManias. Anyway, Trevor Phillips, that's someone I don't know, Trevor Phillips. Trevor Phillips says, now that they are TV presenters, I suppose we must think of the Sussexes like Pierce and Suanna or Richard and Judy as Harry and Meghan. Unlike many, I have always wanted them to succeed. The symbolism of their mixed race union could have sent a potent message to all the world that this country is at least we have loved. I mean, we have found ways to bridge the racial division that risks destroying other societies. They're the kind of people who can pontificate and tell us how much they care about who they don't have to wrestle with the problem of running a country but tackle these issues. But they want us, I mean, they want to use their star power for good. They need to change their production team pronto. Their new show marking the start of Black History celebration, a list of next generation trailblazers, made me want to look away. Well, anyway, that article that he has there, he gives a pretty nasty tone in his description of Meghan and Harry leaving the royal family. But if you look, um, there he is in that very bottom photo right there, receiving an honor from none other than Prince William. So he said all those nasty things about Meghan and Harry. And to celebrate that, what happens? He gets an honor from the royal family. Trevor Phillips, the Times that is, says Harry and Meghan can expect no mercy from those who like things just as they are. Really, man of color, they can expect no mercy. Harry and Meghan's advisors need to get one thing straight. Once outside the royal enclosure, they will no longer enjoy the deference that Harry at least has had all his life. They will join the rest of us in the trenches. Trevor Phillips, I don't know you or anything about you, and maybe you are right about a few things, but in terms of deference, did he not see the Sussexes doing their work here, there, and everywhere? Now, the Sussexes haven't required anybody to bow and curtsy for them. However, some people choose to do so, and some people are very excited and love to meet them. And yes, some people choose to call them the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. As a matter of fact, I believe everybody refers to them as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. But they're no longer your royalty. Now they're our royalty. Okay? They're no longer just yours. They're ours, and we're proud of them and glad to have them. And we celebrate them. See, one thing that they get wrong sometimes, these egghead, picklehead reporters, they love to feed into this fantasy that the only way that you can be a royal is to have been born of the blood. Well, here in the United States, we've been nurturing our Hollywood royalty for a long time. I mean, there when Oprah went to Australia, not officially a queen, but she has been referred to as the queen of daytime television. The Australians rolled the red carpet out for O. It was as big a visit as the queen could have expected. There's a lot of people who even said at the time that the queen doesn't get this kind of turnout. But yet there was all these people there celebrating Oprah's visit to Down Under. So that's where he gets it wrong. You don't have to be a prince or princess of the blood to have people show you deference. We make a big deal out of people who have earned their way in life, not people who inherit, but people who have earned their way. So that's what he's getting wrong is he thinks that the only way to be celebrated is to be royal. That's foolish. Because of Meghan and Harry's work and philanthropy and such, I want to see the column that he's going to write when they are nominated for, let's say, a Nobel Peace Prize. Then what will be his reaction? What will be his reaction when Harry and Meghan keep receiving all these honors and awards outside of the royal family? Then what? When they have a trophy case second to none, then what? Well, where does all of the deference fit into that? They're getting plenty deference, and no more and no less than we give to, say, the Obamas or even Barbara Streisand, for Christ's sake. We give deference to a lot of people. They're big crowd forums. People want to meet them. People want to love them, shake their hand. Look at Aretha Franklin. I mean, yes, they're not princes and princesses of the blood, but it doesn't matter. This is a meritocracy. People work their way up, they earn merit, and we celebrate it. Duh. Ugh. Anyway, they can expect no mercy from those who like things just the way they are. And to be honest, they'll get a what is that, shrift from many activists who have endured a lifetime of, what is it, calumny from the media, largely without complaint. If a if the not a royal couple, oh my God, he's awful. If the not a royal couple want mentors for their new life, there are plenty available. They'll need them because baby is cold outside on the progressive front, Mr. Phillips writes in the Times. Now, this was 2 years ago. This was 2 years ago. Look at where Harry and Meghan are today. Look at where they are today. That was 2 years ago. Oh, you know what? I'm reading a different article from the one that's on the screen. I was actually looking at this one. Sorry about that. Okay, so this one says the prince who has lived his life in the public eye had gathered a bunch of do gooders to discuss how charities could help inner city youth. At the mention of the unfamiliar word, his brow furrowed. He turned to his chief courtier, seeking a translation. Um, a brief whispered conversation ensued. The royal brow unfurled itself. Oh, I see, he said. When you say we need to get a dash on the street faster, I don't know what a dash is. When we need to get a dash on the street faster, you're talking about money. What is this medieval? That's that sounds like something. What is that? A pirate talking? Arr, we need to get a dash on the street. Arr. What is that pirate talk? I don't know what a dash is. I never heard of a dash. Hey, this man is speaking Elizabethan English, and he wants to know why Harry would ask, "What are you talking about?" This is Elizabethan English. Anyway, yes, Your Royal Highness, I replied, wondering how an Englishman could reach his early 40s without encountering such a common slang. Well, in 2020, Harry was not in his early 40s. Harry was in his mid 30s. So I hate to think that he's talking about Harry, but that appears to be what he's talking about. So, anyway, that is a person who just received some honors for whatever reason. Um, okay. So Alan Vernon has a super chat. Baron, did you see what Omid just posted? No, I did not, but let me take a look. Following security and privacy departures at Twitter and an internal warning from company attorney claiming Elon Musk is putting them at risk, the FTC statement says they are tracking developments with deep concern. No CEO or company is above the law. Is that what you're talking about? Because that's the last thing I see that he posted. And then before that, it was the man arrested for throwing eggs at the king is banned for having eggs. But that's the only thing I see. So yeah, if that was it, let me take a closer look at that. Twitter is a remote workplace and has operated as such for years. It has fundamentally changed our employment contracts to require a 40-hour a week office requirement. I do not personally believe that Twitter employees have an obligation to return to office, certainly not on no notice at time at all. But yeah, that's what I see. So I guess that's what you're talking about. But no, but that is interesting. Thank you for sharing it with me. Huh. Well, I do depend on Twitter because of Royal Sussex. Other than that, I had never used Twitter before. Let me see. Trevor is a shameless opportunist. I would agree with that. I agree. Oh, okay. I'll get back to that one. So, you guys, I have been talking up a storm and haven't looked at many of your comments. Elon Musk is losing it. Twitter will fall. Yeah, he's going to dismantle Twitter. Maybe that was the point because he's not only using his money, but he's using other people's money that I think he borrowed. And they said that the that he dumped a bunch of stock from Tesla that he sold it or something like that. So yeah, this man is an idiot. Well, you know what they say: if something isn't broke, then vote for Brexit. If something ain't broke, yeah, if something ain't broke, vote for Brexit. Or should I say fix it? That's what I meant to say. Vote for Brexit. It's the same thing. The membership in the European Union wasn't broke. So what did they do? They voted for Brexit. Baron, all of their is that CEOs, chief privacy, CISO, chief privacy officer and chief compliance officer. Oh, did they? Really? I didn't know that. Wow. So it really is going down the tubes as we speak. That is crazy. Wow. That is insane. Let me see. There's a new site, fan base set up for us that I think is better than Twitter. The thing is, it's just that so many people are tied into. Oh, by the way, thank you, Legs, and also thank you, Alan Vernon. Thank you both for the super chats on Royal Sussex. But the thing is, just so many people are tied into Twitter. Twitter has become indispensable, but unfortunately, we may lose it. But it is, yes, he's a horrible anus. Oh, I'm sorry, he's an anus horribilis. Still cannot say that. He's an anus horribilis, horribilis, an anus horribilis. Is that spelled right? I cannot say that. It's horrible anus. He's a horrible anus. Adidas to rebound Yeezy shoes without Yee. Uh, we'll see them ugly shoes at the Walmart for $24.99. Oh man, I tell you, you have to be a kind of a cuckoo to get people to buy something. Well, to get people to make something that ugly and make you a billionaire. Now that just goes. That is all kind of crazy. That man did talked himself out of being a billionaire. How do you talk yourself out of being a billionaire? You a billionaire. Do you know if I had $1 billion, you'd never hear from me again? I'm just telling you, you'd never hear from me again. $1 billion, bye. I'll invite y'all to come to my villa in the south of France. Or as a matter of fact, I would probably invite the Sussexes over for a barbecue. I mean, after all, I live right next door. Um, and of course, if I had that kind of money, if I was a billionaire, I would actually, I would do like, what's his name, the Oracle of Omaha, the one that, the one that gave Bill and Melinda Gates that money to give away. That's what I would do. For my charity, I would put my money into the Archwell Foundation so they could give it away. That's what I would do. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, let me see here. So this happened. Black child actor heckled with rubbish. They said somebody yelled rubbish after he finished singing his aria, and it was just absolutely ugly. They haven't identified the person who's done that, but what happened is he was doing something at the Royal Opera House, singing an aria, and then someone heckled him by yelling "rubbish" to a kid, to a sweet child. And so the Royal Opera House says we are in close contact with Malachi and his family, and full support is being provided. A Royal Opera House spokesman told the Daily Beast. Thank you, Elaine Parker. Thank you so much for the super sticker. And thank you for watching Royal Sussex. The Royal Opera House in London has permanently banned an audience member after the individual heckled and booed a black child acting in Tuesday night's performance of Handel's, is it Alcina? Or is it Alcina? Alcina? The arts venue confirmed to the Daily Beast on Wednesday. So, yeah, that was awful. I don't know, probably one of them Republicans or something, an American Republican on vacation. He probably thought he was getting away from home, only to find out that it's black people over there. That's probably what it was. It was probably one of those Americans on vacation. That's exactly what it was. I would guarantee you. It's probably somebody from Fox News or something. I don't know. But I'm just kidding. I don't know who it was, but you're right. Catherine Thompson. He was probably racist. Probably racist. So, as I said, the millennials is what really saved this election for the Democrats. But you can see the breakdown of votes in Georgia. That's where these numbers come from, is Georgia. In Georgia, only 23% of white men voted Democrat, 27% of white women, 84% and 93% of black men and women voted for the Democrat. And as for Latinos, it was a little over half. And then when it came to all races, more people voted Democrat in Georgia than not. So the demographic I'm showing you right here that I want to point out is that the most loyal voting bloc for the Democrat Party is black women. Black women historically have voted almost as an entire block as Democrats at election time. So I'm showing you this demographic so that next time that somebody says, "Oh, the system is rigged. Oh, they were just trying to put Hillary in there," um, and let's say that other candidate didn't reach out to black women. I won't say the candidate's name, but he ran as a Democrat. If that other candidate did not reach out to black women, he never had a chance ever of making it to the White House. He would have never won the primary without the black woman's vote. The black woman's vote is what has saved um, this country from Trump and many other times in our history. That solid voting block is what has made the difference at election time. So that is a force to be reckoned with for the Democrat Party, and I just want to make sure that I put that out there. That of course, as you can see in Georgia, black men were 84%, but black women always higher than any other sector of society are going to vote for the Democrat. So if you look at it like that, I guess we know who Megan voted for, huh? Typical fragile what is that? White male disgusting. Well, I mean, when you look at that demographic, it really does show you that for most people, it just came down on the side of race. With African American men and women, it's it doesn't seem to be about race more than it is about what they feel is best for their families. But for the white men and women, it seems as though they wanted to make sure, let's say, that Herschel Walker um, was able to win the Senate. So I think there's a runoff election, and yeah, a lot of division there. But I think anybody who ran Republican would have gotten as many votes from white men and women. Um, yeah, it's just the way it is. Is that it's that fear of change, that fear of others. The abortion issue, I think that is just an excuse. There's no other country that I know of in the world that has this big thing about abortion except for the United States. But I tell you, one time they did a statistic about, um, let me see, what was it? Divorce. Divorce is more likely to happen in the Bible Belt than any place else. And if I remember, I think abortion was more likely to happen in the Bible Belt than any place else. Poverty is more likely to happen in the Bible Belt than any place else. And so all of the things that people that vote Republican are trying to save themselves from, they're really voting against their own interests. Like, for instance, Mississippi, Alabama, historically, those have been very poor states, and they still get an equal chance to be represented in Congress as anybody else. And yet they keep voting for people, and these are the white people in the South that keep voting for people. Oh, and let's include West Virginia. They are voting for people who really don't ever want to see them get ahead in life. They're voting for the people who dismantled the labor unions, which of course is voting against your interests. That's who they are voting for again and again. And it's no different than a poor person or working class person voting for the Tories over and over again when the Tories are not interested in seeing them have an equal shake in life. They don't want to see them have an equal chance to succeed in life. So it's like really holding up a mirror when you look at the Republican Party and you look at the Tory Party. And of course, there's enough elitism in the Democrat Party or the Labor Party. There's plenty of it there as well. But still, if you had to vote for someone within your interests, you should not go the conservative route unless you are wealthy and you're trying to avoid paying taxes. It really doesn't benefit you a whole lot. So that is my editorial moment, and I am done for today. Still, it took 2 hours, but it is what it is. I do appreciate you all for being here. And I don't think I have a list today, but thank you everybody who contributed to Royal Sussex. Thank you so much for being here. And also thank you for making this the fastest growing Sussex friendly channel in all of the Sussex friendly platforms. And that is because you guys have liked, shared, as well as supported this channel in every way possible. And I do thank you for it. And as I always say, the most important thing is I thank you all for trusting me to do this work because I know that some of these topics where the Sussexes are concerned are very sensitive. And I could say we probably all agree that we really want what is best for our faves. Leg says they are still using Nixon's Southern strategy. Yeah, yeah, it is the Nixon Southern strategy. Um, I still remember when Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher took on the labor unions when they wanted to privatize everything. That's not always the best way. I mean, the reason why there's filth flowing into the water around Britain is because they privatized the water system. The reason why the British people pay more to ride the trains than anybody else in Europe is because that was privatized with all these little small companies. So, um, and I tell you something that um, Jimmy Carter, Jimmy Carter, who they say destroyed the American economy, the reason why I was able to get a $600 ticket to fly to London, or the reason why some of us here in the United States can literally spend $49 and hop on a jet and fly somewhere, is because Jimmy Carter deregulated the airlines. Before that, only rich people could fly. Only people who spent a big chunk of their savings were able to fly. But now, thanks to Jimmy Carter, the price of an airline ticket is much lower than it was in the 1970s. So it's ironic that people love to say that the Republicans and all their conservatism, they're better for the economy when it's always, and I do mean always, the Democrat that saves the economy. Ronald Reagan put us in so much debt, put us in so much debt that it wasn't actually paid down until Clinton got there. And then, of course, George Bush, the Junior Bush, put us in so much debt with that unnecessary war that the economy didn't rebound until Barack Obama got there. And then what happened during the pandemic? Well, because we had a Republican, the Orange Menace, who wanted to downplay it and pretend like it didn't exist. Well, of course, our economy went south. And who's putting it back together? Another Democrat. So that is the real irony of it is that um oh yes, Leslie Ann Hector, George Bush wanted to privatize Social Security, and what finally stopped that was 2008. Well, well, I guess you could say the Gulf War, because when the economy took that big crash during the Gulf War, um, the only reason why the Republicans stopped talking about privatizing the Social Security is because people were so what do you call it, worried about their retirements because the stock market had went down, because that's what they wanted us to do. They wanted us to put all of our money into like a stock portfolio and use that for our retirement. And because of the Gulf War and because Bush drove the economy into the ground, I mean, took a surplus and then made us one of the biggest. Weren't we the biggest debtors in the world at that time? We had to borrow money for China to pay for a war that we shouldn't have had. And because of that, the stock market went south. The value of the dollar plummeted. And the only reason that they stopped with that talk about privatizing Social Security was because they crashed the economy. I remember that. Thank you so much, Leslie Ann, for reminding us about that. But you are so right. That was their intention, was to bankrupt the country and then make us pay for our own Social Security by privatizing it. Privatization doesn't always work, and privatization is the reason why, as I said before, I just found this out a couple of weeks ago. That is why there is raw sewage being pumped into the waterways around Britain, is because those companies are privatized and there was never any incentive to do things the other way. Now, by law, they have the right to do that when things are exceptional. But because they are a private company, in order to satisfy their stockholders, they have to do that. Otherwise, they would lose their profits. Yeah, so all privatization is not good. That's a disaster. Most big cities in the United States, if not all big cities, they have water reclamation plants that actually clean the sewage before it goes back into the system. It's very rare that raw sewage is pumped back into the ocean or into the waterways. They actually have water filtration plants where they treat the wastewater. I mean, let's face it, most of us who have visited a big city have actually drank that same water that has been treated. Perfectly safe to do. Gosh, I tell you, today I have worn many hats. I have been James O'Brien. I've been pedo, um, a stand-up comic. What else have I done? I feel like I have been like all over the place emotionally today, but I thank you guys for taking this ride with me. Anyway, I will be looking for the last word of the day. And of course, we will always honor our two queens, and that is, of course, our queen of hearts and our queen of everything. And oh, it's 2 o'clock, you guys. Aren't you supposed to be over there with Anne? Has Anne started yet? Let me see. I'm gonna check for you guys. I did not realize how late it was. Oh, okay. It looks like she's going back about an hour. Looks like she pushed it back about an hour. So yeah, you guys are safe. She's got 70 minutes before she appears. 70 minutes, you guys. 70 minutes. So have lunch, start dinner, or whatever you have to do. And then Anne will be on later. And I am going to get out of here. Oh, thank you, Sonia. I am so glad. I think that, well, not I think, but I believe anything that I could say or do that could relieve stress from the Sussex squad is a worthy pursuit, and I'm always glad to do it. Okay. Last word of the day. Last chance. Yes, it's our last chance for love. Yes, it's our last chance for romance tonight. Oh, I'm about to clear this room. Whoa, I need you beside me. This is how I clear the room. To guide me, to hide me. I forgot the words. Uh, oh man, that's what I do when I want to clear the room. I break out in song. Okay, y'all, I'm fixing to go. Um, Let me see. Yes, of course we're going to ginger binge, but I'm fixing to go so I can go and watch The Crown. I got some snacks and everything, and I'm all ready to go. So thank you all for being here. And oh, you guys, I made a mistake earlier. I was looking at Twitter, and I thought it said that Sherry-On was back on YouTube, and I realized I was wrong. I don't know what I was looking at. I'm just like, wait a minute, that's not the YouTube, that's the Twitter. So I do apologize for the mistake. I did take it off of the community tab, but oh my goodness, what a terrible mistake to make. I do apologize for that. But yeah, I thought um I don't know, maybe it was just wishful thinking. That was all. It was just wishful thinking. So um hmm, I need some Carmex. Ooh, okay. Okay, Ginger Lid's gonna start watching tomorrow. Oh yeah, I loved Donna Summers. Oh, hey Anastasia Isabella, I didn't know you were here. Okay. Why don't I do the last word today? So last chance for romance tonight. Ooh, ah. And that's our last word for the day. I'll do it myself. No, I haven't. I promise you, I'm gonna work on that tonight, or at least I'm gonna think about it. But yeah, I'm gonna do that. Um, and I think I'm almost there. I looked at it, I'm just like, wait a minute, that's not right. I'm just gonna have to look at a how-to video. That's what I need to do, is to look at a how-to video and read the instructions carefully to make sure I get it right. And I will post it on the community tab. Or my name isn't. What is my name? All right, I'm just having fun. Okay, but anyway, thank you guys, and I will see y'all tomorrow. So let's cue Ginger Binge and get out of here. Unless you guys want to watch Once Upon a Time again, because I rather fancy that one. I love Once Upon a Time, but you guys know that already. It's just like Once Upon a Time is like, I don't know, it completes me. It really completes me. Um well, unfortunately, my thong is in the shop. I don't even know what that means. My thong is in the shop. But all right, cute Ginger Venger. All right, all right. I'll see you guys. Love you. And I will see you all tomorrow. And we are going to talk about The Crown. Okay, where are you, Ginge? There we go.